Hello and welcome to the relaunch of the Greyed Out Man YouTube channel. Reason why I'm doing this now is just because it's got to a time in the game that I've been playing and sometimes streaming on Twitch that I think it's quite interesting, and it just occurred to me that some people who were getting into my channel a while back on YouTube might just be interested in some of the things I'm doing, and hopefully some of you who are watching on YouTube might come and see me on Twitch, and vice versa. I've certainly noticed on my Twitch channel there are some people who keep coming back but aren't really sort of saying anything. And it's just nice. I think it's nice on Twitter when, sorry, on Twitch even, Twitter. It's nice on Twitch when people are sort of interacting, because that's kind of why I do it, sort of to get that bit of interaction with people, get some advice, sure, but also, sounds pathetic, but kind of make friends and certainly get to meet people. So I thought I would just launch relaunch my YouTube channel to kind of give you an update, and I'll probably do it like a season update on this every, well, however long it takes me to decide to do a season, and it does vary a bit. At the moment I'm doing quite a few, so I will take you through this game. So the aim of this game, as you're about to see, is to win every single trophy in the British Isles. So it's this, in other words. Okay, this is the kind of the aim of the game. Just get this, I'm going to put that down. And so far, we've done quite well. We've got 4 of the 40 trophies that we're looking for. I had a little bit of a lean spell here. Couple of reasons for that. The Harrogate, I think I'd just taken them as far as I could take them, because we'd had 2 promotions very quickly, and it just wasn't going to happen again. Waterford was just a mistake. It just was. I should have gone there. We actually did make some improvement in that second season here, the first full season in Ireland. But it fell apart in the the second full season, so we were sacked actually. It was our second sacking, I think. We were sacked at Llandudno as well. So I went to Denby, and at Denby it was frustrating, because it was one of those where I was always nearly there. It's like, one more season I might be able to go up, one more season I might be able to go up. And because we've won the Welsh South, and there aren't any division-specific cups in Wales, it would have meant that I could have got rid of those 2 leagues in the game, which would have sped my game up a little bit, and I really wanted to do that, but sadly it didn't happen. So we moved to Belfast Celtic, because I just felt that the team wasn't moving forward at Denby, and it's gone really well there so far. So we had Jack James, who I will show you now, still in my team. We are literally on the first day of the next season after our promotion, and Jack James is still my star player, and as you can see, for this level he is an absolute superstar. That season was an absolute, I just beyond my wildest dreams for him. And obviously plenty of other players who are decent here, and we are making some improvements to that team. But this is kind of the story to say so far, I suppose. So we got our 4th trophy just at the end of last season with the Northern Irish Intermediate, which is the 4th, and you can see here when we've won the other 3, all with different clubs at this point. I've only won 1 trophy per club, and not with all of them. Certainly, this save could have gone better. I'm not going to deny that. Waterford was definitely a mistake. Denby was just frustrating as hell. But everything else, Llandudno was also a mistake as well as Waterford. But if you look through my time at Llanelli Town, I was pretty pleased. We weren't a million miles off getting to sort of challenge for the Welsh Premier League, but it was one of those where I just felt taking to that next step would have taken a bit longer, and I went to Wrexham instead. And again, we were close straight away, managed to get promoted. League 2 just wasn't going to happen, so I jumped ship at that point, just because I thought, well, there's no point in trying to spend ages and ages, and this is probably the lesson I should have learned for Denby, because I kept trying. The thing is, I felt I was so close with Denby, and that's why I stayed for so long. We had a title challenge in the 37 season. Didn't here, but only because we had a really poor start. Probably would have had if we hadn't had that really poor start, and it was kind of history repeating itself over and over again. Harrogate was definitely my most successful period with the double promotion here, but obviously we only won League 1, so we're going to have to go back for League 2 at some point. But yeah, that's where we are. We need to win a cup at some point. That's definitely a big target for us, to start winning some cups. The reason why I can't yet get rid of the Intermediate is because the Steel and Sons Cup and the Intermediate Cup are only available to teams in the Intermediate. I think in the case of the Steel and Sons, it might be lower teams as well. But yeah, so I'm going to need to go back to that league at some point, not to win the league, but to win those 2 cups. So it'll be at some point I will need a season where I'm just completely focusing with a good team, a team perhaps capable of winning the Intermediate League, but completely focused on those 2 competitions, so that I can get those under my belt, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a bugbear for quite some But that's where I am in the save as a whole. In terms of where I am with this team, it's looking really good. To say, Jack James still here, no sign of wanting to leave. No one interested in him even. Don't quite know why, given how good he's been, but that's fine by me because hopefully he'll be around for a while longer. He's only 24, plenty still to give. And I've got a few players who I think will hopefully really improve this team. I've got a new keeper this season, a guy called Hakan Shahan, who I think looks decent, although I also have a youngster who came through the club last season who I have high hopes for as well. So I'm hoping those two can push each other for a first choice berth. I was looking for an older keeper this year, before I signed Shahan really. I was looking for an older keeper who would have sort of been my keeper for a year or two before Keith Larkin took over, and I didn't mean to do that. And then Keith Larkin could have taken over sort of 2042 if I was still at the club, but it didn't. I just haven't managed to find him yet. I still might, but as you can see, I've got quite a lot of young keepers at the moment, but nothing with any kind of experience. And obviously, mentoring for Keith Larkin as well was part of that plan. But that's where I am in the save at the moment. I'm going to be continuing to stream this on Twitch every single day, pretty much. I'm not going to say quite every single day, but most days. I will be generally streaming in the evening, although I might sometimes do a morning stream as well. But if you follow, obviously you will be able to get notifications when I do go live. And please do ask any questions either here or in the stream. I am always happy to answer any questions, but B, also looking for advice. So if you can see, for example, this is the tactic that got me promoted pretty much. If you can see any flaws in this that could improve this further, then please let me know. I'm well aware that the intensity is pushing it, and I may need to kind of drop back on that a little bit, particularly if it seems like we're not going to win the league this year. Obviously last year I really tried to push them hard and we did get over the line. Last season was there was a little bit of an iffy moment when we had this run here where it kind of I felt like we might that Irish Cup quarter-final defeat to Banbridge, which we should have won that game, and I just wondered whether that might be kind of the thing that sort of just about derailed the season. As it happens, I think from what I remember, we could have lost those last two games and still gone up. Yes, we would. If we lost those last two games, we would actually still have gone up. But I didn't know that at the time, and that wasn't necessarily the case. And we actually only officially became champions on the last day, although it would have taken something absolutely extraordinary for the points and the goal difference to have turned around on that last day. So this is the team as it stands. As I say, there's a whole load of players here who I'm really happy with. Marcelo Santos was the absolute star at Denby. He was the kind of the massive hope that I had going into certainly this season, where I felt like I should have gone up. Because you can see he had a brilliant season the year before. Everyone had a decent season. We were challenging, and then that season was just a little disappointing. And whilst 7.11 is still good, don't get me wrong, he wasn't quite as good as the year before. And unfortunately, the same was true of a lot of my players in that Denby side. But still, I'm still pretty happy with the way that things are going so far. At Belfast Celtic, it's obviously been a good move for me. This season, there's a chance that I might decide to move on. It rather depends on the early start that I have. If I'm doing well in this start, if I get to September and I'm sort of halfway up the table, something like that, then I'm very happy to kind of do a couple of years here and see if I can push it up. What I don't really want to have to worry about is a massive relegation fight that will then drag down my reputation and so on. So if it does look like we're in a relegation fight, particularly if we get knocked out of a couple of the cups, then I will certainly be looking at maybe moving on to a new job. Excuse me. But yeah, a few things I would like some feedback on. Firstly, any clubs that you've managed in some of these leagues, I'll just put my spreadsheet up again. So these are the leagues I need to win still. Any of the clubs that you've managed in some of these leagues, particularly the lower ones that I might not have heard of, who could be good ones to see. Harrogate, obviously, I took over in League 2 when they were already doing quite well, and took them almost to the Premier League. So yeah, if there's a team like Harrogate, who I know would have started, I don't know if they're in the Vanarama or the Vanarama North, but one or the other. If there's a team like that, which you think might be a good one for me to go to for whatever reason, perhaps because they've just got a lot of money or something like that, then let me know. Any low teams in Scotland? I haven't been to Scotland at all yet. Any low teams in Ireland? I have been to Ireland, but as you can see, very briefly, and it wasn't very good. Or anything really, as I say, in Northern Ireland, I'm at the moment, I'm hoping that we might even get up to the Premier League with Belfast Celtic, and who knows, we might do a clean sweep, although we do need to worry about those cups as well. So at some point we're going to need a lowly Northern Irish team so that I can go back and win those two teams. Again, if there are any you know of, Please do let me know who I should be looking for if the jobs become available. We did. I should say I started unemployed, so that first job was sorry, that's Football Index, which unfortunately is not very pretty at the moment. That's the one I wanted. Um, the I started unemployed, so Nestle was just the first job that I quite fancied that became available, and actually I enjoyed it. Nestle, it was a good start. It was a really good game. And then obviously Wrexham as well. We had this guy Benny Ashley Steele. The best player of my well, actually no, the best player of my saves so far actually is Jack James. But before that, Jack James, just that season was just so incredibly good. I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever seen a goal ratio as good as that in a Football Manager. I did in Championship Manager, but not in Football Manager. But before that, the best player I've had, and I think he's still at Harrogate. God, he's 35 now. Oh, he's actually retired. He did finish his career there though. He retired at 30. That's bizarre. But yeah, this is the guy who was. I had him around this period. When did I leave Harrogate? I left Harrogate in 20. So I was there from about 2039 to 2033. So I signed him, and you can see he had a fantastic run. After I left, not so good, but that run of 3 seasons while I was with Harrogate, he was absolutely extraordinary. So at the moment, I would say this is the player of the series, although I'm hoping if Jack James can show that he's just as good in this higher league, then maybe he can become that. But yeah, certainly Taylor Swift at the moment would go down as my favourite player of this save. But there have been quite a few different places, and there have been some players who I've taken with me from one team to another. Marcelo Santos is probably the best of those. He was a bit of a star at Denby. He's obviously not a star at Belfast Celtic, but just about deserves his first team place, I think. Although whether that will last this season, I'm not so sure. I think that's possibly one area that I need to kind of be a little less sentimental and just move on from him. Much though he will always have a special place in my heart, Marcelo Santos, the Portuguese wonder kid who I got for Denby. Obviously not described as a wonder kid really, but to me he was a wonder kid because he was just very young and pretty good for that level. But that is where we are at the moment. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like me to show you. I will probably be doing this just a season at a time, but if you want to come and see me on Twitch, that's absolutely fine. And if there are specific questions that perhaps need video answers, then I'm perhaps open to doing more than one video per season. That will be kind of comments specific, but at the moment the plan is to do one YouTube video per season to give you a little update. But obviously I will be streaming on Twitch quite regularly. I don't stream the whole game. I play without stream sometimes too, but I will be there mostly evenings, but sometimes afternoons most of the time. And as I say, if you can follow me on Twitch, then you will know when I will be there. I fully expect that I will be at Belfast Celtic for most of the season. I don't think we're going to be in for a relegation battle. As I say, if we are, then that will change, but that's not the plan anyway. And this is the first game of this. I am not going to stream this, I don't think, because by the time you see, I'm not going to stream this because by the time you see this video, obviously I will have played the first game. My guess is probably by the time most of you see this video, it will be tomorrow. This is one of the last things I'm going to do this evening. So when you see this tomorrow, I may well be streaming already. And if I'm not streaming, then please follow me. And when I do come and stream, come and have a look. Come and ask any questions you like. Anyone you want to have a look at, feel free. I think pretty much everyone, football player, like current real football player wise, has now retired, or almost everyone. So I think for some reason I always think of Bukayo Saka when I'm thinking of sort of the youngest players in the kind of real world right now. And as you will see, he has. Oh, he was actually a coach the last time I checked, but he's obviously not found a job. So he's recently retired anyway. I'm just trying to think of if there are some. So Charlie Patino is a bit younger than him at Arsenal at the moment. I think he's still around. Yeah, there he is. But he is a coach now. So there you go. In fact, he retired last year. But yeah, so the youngest players in the real life now are pretty much all retired. So you're not going to be able to see. I mean, you'll be able to see their careers if they're good ones, and I'm happy to show you that. But more interesting, perhaps, will be kind of your teams or anything like that. My team, some of you may know this already, but my team is Arsenal. They haven't been particularly successful. although I think they did win the league last year, possibly for the first time. Premier League, yeah, 2040. That's the first time they've won it since the Invincible season. So finally, they're starting to become a bit of a force again. It's taken them long enough. Their finances are decent, although fluctuating. Who is their manager now? Vieira. That's good to see. They've been through a few, though, haven't they? God, look at that list. Arteta, Bielsa, Kovac, Bold, Purely. That's Boas. Not sure about a former Spurs manager. That doesn't seem very nice. And actually, a couple of these, Bold and Gillard are both interim managers. So they've actually, they've kept managers for a relatively long time. If you look at the, and Bielsa obviously retired. So yeah, that is where we are now in the game world. 2040. I think possibly the first time I've got to 2040 in a save, in any save, with any football manager. So it's been great so far. I'm hoping this game will continue for quite some time, because whilst obviously it's a bit of a dream to kind of complete this challenge. I don't think I can. Realistically, I don't think I'll ever complete this. I will keep trying, at least until Football Manager 22 comes out, and possibly beyond it. I'm really enjoying the save. I'm enjoying going to different places. I've never managed on Ireland before. I still haven't managed in Scotland. Looking forward to that. I have actually managed in Wales and Northern Ireland before, so that's not quite as new, although I've never managed in the lower leagues of either. So I'm really enjoying a sort of a slightly new experience here, and the Welsh North in particular is proving a bit of a tough nut to crack. And very, very frustrating. But I'll get there eventually. That will be ticked off, and then I can hopefully start getting rid of some leagues, because it is my game is going to start getting slower and slower for obvious reasons. So yeah, come and join me on my Twitch channel. Keep watching my YouTube videos. I will come out with at least one a season. But please come up with any questions you want for me. I'm happy to show you. And I will see you at the end of this season. Bye for now.